I'm Lisa Evers, and this is Street Soldiers.
Box 5 and Hot 97 present Street Soldiers with Lisa Evers.
They've gone from basketball courts to boardrooms, from gyms to high fashion runways. Sneakers are breaking dress code barriers everywhere. So what's fueling this trend? Sneakers have come a long way since Fat Joe's Lean Back topped the charts. 10 years later, the platinum rapper has a new album, the highly anticipated Family Ties, and new sneaker preferences.
It could be the color wave, it could be the style. Lately I've been wearing like more comfortable sneakers. Comfort is very big.
Once relegated to workouts, sneakers are being worn everywhere by men and women. Industry experts say comfort is one reason. Sneaker sales have ballooned to more than $50 billion a year.
Now the new styles are all, comfortable. It feels like you're walking on a pillow.
Hot 97 DJ Young Chow agrees comfort is important, but so is style, especially in an image-conscious business like his.
A hot sneaker is about sneaker swag, the color, the texture, how it looks with my clothing, how I put it together.
Chic labels like Louis Vuitton and Gucci make high-style sneakers. Luxury brand D Squared uses them on runways. Their unusual-looking sneaker sandal was a bust until Cardi B struck a pose in them.
The sneaker industry is such a huge business that why wouldn't they tap into that to continue to grow? I mean, the brands that were early on with it, like such as the Louis Vuitton with the sneaker, it just made sense.
In his sneaker shopping show on Complex, host Joe LaPuma takes celebrities on the buying experience of their dreams. He says social media helps make a sneaker hot, so do sports and music.
Every night we see athletes on court, and then on Sunday we see even walking into the tunnel NFL players. But then you have artists like Kanye West, who has a very successful Adidas collaboration. There's so many people who are moving the needle.
LaPuma says young entrepreneurs are ramping up the competition for the latest and hottest sneaker.
It's like collecting art and reselling them. You could buy shoes for $200 that are worth $2,000 6 months later.
There's a lot more to this growing passion for sneakers. Let's find out what our panel has to say. Joining me is DJ Young Chow. He's a Hot 97 DJ. Young Chow, great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Also with us is Valissa Vaughn. She's the U.S. PR manager for D Squared. She's an urban high fashion fusion expert. Valissa, great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Also with us is Joe LaPuma. He's a senior vice president for content and strategies at Complex. He's also the creator and host of the very popular Sneaker Shopping Show. Joe, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
You're dealing with sneakers every single day.
Yes.
How big is this right now?
It's really big. And when I say really big, it was always kind of this niche thing where even coming up, if I had more than 5 pairs of sneakers, people would look at me crazy. And this was back in the day. But the people who got the sneaker boom and were passionate about it always got it. It was like they always said, they always knew that this was going to be something big, and now we have seen it gone mass for a number of different reasons. And it's totally mainstream. It's like where comics were back in the day, and it's like it's almost like video games now. It's its own mass section of pop culture.
All right, we're going to talk about why that is. Valissa said that there was a point where the high fashion world, which you are in, and you go to all these shows and you're traveling around the world and dealing with all these different houses and designers and things, where they really looked down on anything that even had any connection to urban culture. But now that's different.
Definitely. So I came from a sneaker store called Social Status back in the day. Was able to help start that with my former boss, James Whitner.
Oh, the man.
Yeah.
The man.
The man. He's doing great things, and I'm so proud. I mean, at that time, it was like 4 or 5 stores that we were running, now to 10, and he has a luxury version of the store now. So back then, we were traveling, again, then around the world, trying to get brands that were willing to be next to an Air Force One. And back then it was like, none of these upper brands wanted to have anything to do with sneaker culture. Whereas now we, see, Louis Vuitton has a sneaker, Chanel has a sneaker. And to be honest, I give a lot of credit to Kanye West, because once he did like the beginning collabs and he did the huge collab with Nike, then everybody really started paying attention to how luxury fashion was starting to fuse with, you know, main sneaker culture. And I think that, honestly, a lot of people might not be happy with that statement, but to me, Kanye then spawned all these other things that occurred, whether it's Fear of God or all these other Virgil with Off-White, to make sneaker, you know, and streetwear kind of really fuse with high fashion. So I really give a lot of credit to that kind of era, and I think that's what brought along everyone kind of merging everything.
And we're in a very different place now today.
Absolutely.
And, Young Child, what about you in terms of a DJ? Your appearance is part of your brand and part of your popularity.
Yes, my father, he was a DJ back in the days, and like seeing where the cultures from then to now is like totally different. Like, you know, his time, a lot of people wear like regular shoes and, you know, dress pants and stuff like that. Now everybody have on jeans and sneakers, especially the ladies. Like back in the days, ladies, like you said before, would only wear heels to parties and stuff like that. Now you see a woman put on like a Yeezys or some like a expensive kind of sneaker to go to a party and feel comfortable.
And what about for you? Like, how many pairs of sneakers do you have? Or is that too private information to
That's not
disclose
private.
on street?
That's not private. Like, I just actually donated like around like 20 pairs of sneakers that I had. So I have about like over 100 pairs of sneakers.
Wow.
Yes, I have a lot. Like I'm a big collector of kicks and shoes and everything.
All right, we're going to talk about that. Joe, what's fueling this trend, though? Because
There's
it's,
so
I mean,
many- yeah.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
There's so many things fueling it. It's so cliche to say the internet has exploded everything, but it really has.
That's true.
You know,
Very true.
it's
Social media.
Well,
Facts,
it's not
facts.
rocket science to say the internet has contributed to furthering different spaces of industry and when I was coming up, we had Nike Talk, which was like this bare bones message
I remember
board,
that.
and that's where all the it was before blogs, it was
Yeah.
before Complex, it was
Yes.
before Hypebeast, it was before you could get information, and it was like this bare bones message board, and it was fueled by the community, and like Ben Baller was on it, and Wale was on it, and it was basically people were putting fit pics. It was like a mix of before Instagram, because people were posting their sneaker pics. But also, it was where rumors about sneaker information was coming out. And if you were plugged in, you know, I used to work at a sneaker store at Finish Line, and they knew, the people on Nike Talk knew this when things were dropping before the execs at
Yes.
Finish Line. And it was only like one thing. And now we see, what, hundreds of blogs. So that's one thing. When I say the internet, more specifically that. The tunnel every night for NBA, and to a lesser extent, football. Odell Beckham Jr. isn't even playing in sneakers, but that 15 minutes before the game when the cameras catch him walking in Brown Stadium and what he's wearing.
Yeah.
Major.
And then every night, Russell Westbrook, LeBron, and then for Adidas, James Harden, what they're wearing. And the brands, these are mini fashion shows every single night.
It's become that way.
Very
Melissa,
true.
what about that?
I mean, that's major. I work with James and PJ every week, every day. I mean, I literally have stuff to send to them today. So, you know, we were so lucky to have them at our show last season. You know, we built great relationships with them, and like just said, it's that 10 minutes right before they go, you know, into the locker room is literally turned into a runway. I mean, Complex has covered it, GQ has covered it. And I mean, even that is such a large portion of where it's going that, you know, an Italian brand like D Squared doesn't necessarily care so much about the NBA, but now they're like on it. They want to
Because
partner with NBA players. They want to partner with the NFL because they're leading the movement. Kids actually look up to these athletes for their sport that they play. I want to be that player, you know, because they play basketball, but now they want to dress like that player. They want to
They want to look like them.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Young Child, what about that? The
Like,
effect
it's so
of the
true.
athlete,
Like
the
these
effect of the
athletes are
athletes.
like so influential right now. Like these kids, like they look for an outlet to go to see what to wear. So like in high school, like when I was in high school, I used to look like the seniors, like, you know, what the seniors are wearing. Like, yo, like, all right, they got on some fresh kicks. I'm gonna get that. Da, 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 da. But now, social media, like he said, and the internet, like have everybody dressing how they want to dress. And you know, the NBA, the NFL is like another outlet for kids to see them. Like, oh wow, what sneakers are those?
Yeah.
Like, what are those? Like,
All right,
and,
we're going to talk about what makes a hot sneaker when we come back. This is Street Soldiers. Stay with us.
I'm an OG sneakerhead. You know, like I have to have my sneakers clean.
Joe, what makes a hot sneaker now?
I think there are some sneakers that are undebatable hot, and that means there's classics and there's new iterations of classics.
Like,
that,
for example?
you know, the Air Force One
Is the classic.
is a classic, but the new iterations. You know, you talked about James. He just did a Amon Meniere Air Force One collaboration, which everyone loved. And I think it's up to you. It's self-expression. So where I may think something is hot, a lot of people don't. You know, we have someone in my office who is almost exclusively only wearing Adidas runners and loves Adidas, but it's hot to him. Now, it's just like music. There's going to
rankings.
There's going to be songs that break through that everyone in this room could agree is a hot song.
No matter what type of music
No
is their
matter
favorite,
what.
right?
But sneakers is a little different because everyone is able to express themselves in a different way. But of course, there's clumps of sneakers that break through to be, these are undebatable hot.
Melissa, in terms of the high fashion runway, when you're doing a D squared show in Milan or Paris or, you know, around the world, other places around the world, are there sneakers on those models?
Oh, absolutely. For us, we had a reiteration of a sneaker, the chunky sneaker, which was really big in fashion. It's still hanging around, but kind of started with like a Balenciaga, huge triple S sneaker that was major, and then everybody and their mom did a version of it. And then we did a woman's version of it that was a huge heel. People called it an alien shoe. People, Vogue, called it all this stuff, but then Cardi B wore it, and then it broke the internet.
Yeah.
And then it hit Vogue Paris, it hit, it was global. The bigger pull for that was actually the women's version of the sneakers. So sneakers are infused on the runway now. Back in the day, you wouldn't really see a sneaker, let alone for women. I know at least for D Squared, we've made that a big part of, our current collection.
And showing like that. DJ Youngchild, what about in terms of DJing? Are there certain hot sneakers you have to rock now in certain places?
Well, it depends on the party. Like, the party's going to be like a party of over 1,000 people. Of course, you want to wear the hottest kicks that just came out.
Stand on the booth.
Yeah, stand on the booth, make everybody see your kicks, or you wear the sneakers that has the most clout on the internet. Like the Fear of Gods, the new Yeezys, or a classic Yeezy that no one could get. So that's the basically thing that I think that would make sense.
Right, and that's a big issue. Joe, talk about like the scarcity thing. Hasn't that been used to drive up the hype?
Definitely. And it always was the more limited pair, the better. But Kanye, especially now, is mass producing the Yeezys.
Yes.
And he set out, a year and a half ago or so, he said, I'm going to make Yeezys available for everyone. And people looked at him like he was crazy. And now the Yeezy 350 model especially is in big box retailers, where it used to just be the consignment stores, or it would be online and they would sell out quickly, and then it would end up at Flight Club or Stadium Goods or the secondary market for, a lot hiked up prices. Now that model, specifically the 350, he's mass producing, and he is sticking to his guns that he wants everyone to have it, and it's really flipping things on its head. There was, in the Forbes article, he was on the cover a couple months back, and they reported that Yeezy sales are going to hit 1.5 billion, and Jordan's at 3 billion. And no one has challenged Jordan like he is, and he's taking.
And he's not even an athlete.
He's not an athlete, and he is totally where Kanye, you think of back in the day, everything exclusive. Now he's taking this big product, probably the most successful product he's ever created, and he wants it everywhere. And what I saw on I call it Long Island Facebook, where I grew up,
right?
is there were specific models of the Yeezy 350 that dropped, that like the Pirate Blacks and the Turtle Doves, that are going for like $3,000. And those are like the first colorways. But Long Island Facebook, I saw so many kids with their parents, like Johnny got his first pair of Yeezys, and their colorways that aren't as exclusive as the first ones, doesn't matter. Right. They just have their first pair of Yeezys, and it is something that has so many legs with years to come.
What about trends, Joe, in terms of what's next or what's hot, or people want to get a gift for somebody or gift themselves?
Yeah, I think brands always kind of hammer, we are function first and aesthetic second. Not sure how much I always believe about that, but we've seen like Nike do self-lacing on-court basketball sneakers, which is a technology that we saw it in Back to the Future. But the fact that like Jason Tatum is wearing self-lacing hyper-adapt BBs, It's a silhouette. And then the other thing that I've seen recently in the past couple years are like deconstructed silhouettes. So Virgil's The 10, which was a monumental collection. He did 10 classics reinterpreted, and he like cut the swooshes and it took like a Jordan 1 that's usually pristine and an Air Force 1 and like switched it all around. And I think we were just talking about off camera, it's kind of split on even like deconstructed and sneakers becoming like dirty and coming out dirty. Some people are like, I could never buy a pair
could never buy that.
A pair of
You
brand.
would never buy them?
I would never buy
The
that.
ones that look kind of torn up and kind of like
Yeah.
rough?
I'm an OG sneakerhead. You know, like I have to have my sneakers clean. Like I clean my sneakers with toothbrushes. I have to see them clean.
There's sneakers coming with scuffs on them.
Yes.
One of the
But do you
biggest
keep, what
Jordan.
about the boxes? Do you keep like the special boxes?
No,
the
I actually bought like new containers.
The
for my
container
sneakers.
store.
Yeah, the container store.
Have you ever seen a
have
closet
it,
with the
yeah.
container store?
It's actually better because like I now can see all my
Yeah.
like sneakers clear to pick it up. But before it's in boxes, you know, like oh god, like
Yeah.
Melissa, as a collector, do you have the original boxes or do you use the crystal
At my
clear?
mom's house, I have original boxes. At my house now, I have some boxes, but I live in New York City now, so
Right.
you need
Oh,
the
yeah.
space.
Space is
Yeah,
a
you need
space is a
space.
pretty
Everything.
issue.
But what about this deconstruction and kind of like dirty trend? Is that part of a larger fashion theme or fashion?
It is a trend right now. I'm like in the middle of it. There's sometimes like certain sneakers I don't care. I don't mind how they look once they get dirty, but then like there are certain sneakers that I'm like I prefer them to still look clean, and I am gonna maybe take a toothbrush to it if I need to.
Right.
So I'm actually kind of someone who's in the middle. I kind of like a little bit of both, but I think it's preference.
I think so too.
Definitely preference.
It's a trend right now that get your sneakers dirty. I think as New Yorkers, we run around and actually walk
the
in our
streets are so
sneakers.
dirty,
We
too.
don't drive everywhere,
Yeah.
so our sneakers are gonna get dirty regardless. But like even let's say like a Van, like I have friends out in LA where they only wear Vans 24/7. They
Vans are
get
dirty.
dirty so
Yeah.
fast, but
So
they wear
dirty.
them until they're dirty, and then they pick up a new pair.
Yeah.
So whereas I think it's cultural too, like East Coast, West Coast.
For
I don't
sure.
know.
And I think it's international actually. Like because when I travel like to Europe and stuff, like their sneakers be dirty, but they be so expensive.
Right.
They don't really care. So I guess like they'll wear like a brand new outfit, dirty shoes,
Right.
and people pick up on that, and people's like, you know what, like,
Fine.
fine.
Because you can almost tell the country by what kind of shoes they're wearing with the clothes, the
Yeah.
sneakers too.
Yeah.
What,
Sometimes.
what about
Not now.
Japan? Weren't you were just in Japan? What about
Yo, Japan, like they're so like up to date with everything, fashion,
That's like
style,
that's
technology.
another
Technology.
world.
I was in
Japan is
Tokyo and I walked into like a whole Jordan store. Like
Yeah.
that's all they sell, and they had like Jordans from like $20 to $20,000.
You could find like 1994 Jordan
Bro,
ones in
you
Tokyo.
find
Yeah.
anything, and like,
Yeah.
and they
Surplus
have
of
the
them.
year. Like, all right, so you know how Jordans and sneakers come out, like they have it, the year it came out. So like, it came out 1995, 1995.
Yeah.
like a museum almost.
Like
Yeah.
the shoebox, everything.
Some of them
original.
you put them on, they fall apart.
Yeah, because it's so old.
Yeah, because they're so old. But
And the
they
rubber
do have
kinda-
them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The sole falls apart.
But those are like for collectors and like,
Collectors.
yeah,
People like that.
collectors and stuff.
What Joe? What in terms of the, like, how do people outdo each other now? Like, how do celebrities outdo each other when
It's-
they want to have like something where people are going to go, wow, what's
Classics.
that?
It's heavily competitive. And don't let anyone tell you it's not. It's
is.
heavily
It is.
competitive to have the newest stuff.
Before it
Before
comes
everyone.
out, before it comes out, which is where I come in. Like if there's something that someone wants and it's fall winter 20, then they need it now.
Now.
And what if they saw it on someone? Would they say no? If they're privy
Yeah,
to
definitely.
see
Really?
So I mean, like a part of my job is getting the exclusive pieces that haven't came out to celebrities well before, but we're very particular. Like we want someone that's gonna get us great press and
Lead
it be
it.
exclusive first before we give it to this person. So it's a game. We have our list and then celebrities have their list. So it's back and forth.
All right, well, I want to thank all of you for being with us for this episode of Street Soldiers. DJ Young Chow, great to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Melissa Vaughn. Great to have you.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
me.
and Joe LaPuma. Awesome. Thank you so
This
much
was
for
fun.
being
Thank
with us.
you.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of Street Soldiers. Remember, use your mind. It's your best weapon. I hope it's your only weapon. I'm Lisa Evers. Let's push for peace.